All right, hello and welcome everybody to another cast in Alchemy League Season 9. Season 9 features Hyperrandom prominently by Zetnus. He's been a big supporter of our community since almost the beginning of the league itself. So we did this just we needed a good place to go for Alchemy League Season 9, and I wanted to reward him for all of his help. So I've got my new system all set up. We've got a new operating system installed on a solid state drive instead of the traditional mechanical hard drive. So hopefully things are a lot faster and less laggy throughout the stream. Hopefully the settings are still good. I just learned today how to export a JSON that saves all of your stream settings and such, so hopefully I don't have to go through and spend hours setting everything back up again. I spent like an hour just fighting with this background image, which apparently was never 1920 by 1080, and so I was like trying to use the AI to resize it until I eventually found the right tool to do that, and it was just a huge pain, but we finally made it. We're here. We're looking forward to showing you some Alchemy League. We are on the third and final sprint from Season 9. There's $200 on the line. We have a couple of matches. Today we've got Flying Mouse versus Core Diamond, and we have Kira Tastrich versus Oladushek. So we got some good games, hopefully. Courtesy of a lot of games of the Commonwealth of Independent States, actually, being featured today. And we'll go over that. Let me scroll down here to introduce our first two players. So Flying Mouse, he's been with us since Alchemy League Season 4. He is from Germany, and he plays at a 1500 level. And Core Diamond has been off and on with us since Alchemy League Season 1, I believe. And he is from Russia, actually. And he plays in the lower 1200s. So between these two players, if we open up the scoreboard, actually I don't want to reveal anything too much, but I want to show you that there is handicap here, and between Flying Mouse and Core Diamond there's a 5% handicap that's applied to Core Diamond. So we'll get to see how Core Diamond does with the handicap. There should really, actually, maybe in this sheet there should be a way of, oh no, because it's match dependent anyway, so I guess that wouldn't work. We could have gone over to the scoreboard tab too, actually. And the second game is Kira Tastrich versus Oladushek, 1900 essentially, versus 2K1. So we always like to start with the lower elo and then work our way up throughout the cast. So anyway, got some good sets, and I'm looking forward to showing them off. We can show off the Civ draft. 5 random bans by the admin starting out, and then they each globally ban 2 civilizations, and then they pick 3, snipe 1, parallel, and hidden, and then pick 3 more. And they have a choice of playing 2 or 3 games, whatever they want to do. It's up to them. And so for Flying Mouse and Core Diamond, the results of that left Flying Mouse with Lithuanians, Spanish, Berbers, Malians, and Britons, and Core Diamond was left with Vietnamese, Turks, Koreans, Armenians, and Japanese. Alright. So now we'll get into the game here. Alright, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Alright, let me know if anything is too loud. So we got Flying Mouse playing as the blue Berbers. We have a Nomad start here on Hyperrandom. And we have Core Diamond playing as the red Koreans. It looks like a pretty far away start here. I think that's bad for Core Diamond. I think Core Diamond wants to be closer to Flying Mouse. Now, all of the animals and Hyperrandom have food, essentially. They have random amounts of food, too. It's not super, like, crazy the amounts of food that they have, but it is slightly different. So you can see that these camels are pretty fat. These camels are like almost, they're kind of between a regular deer. I guess they're a really chunky deer. That's a way of looking at it. 2 of them is equivalent to a rhino, essentially. The amount of meat supplied by a rhinoceros. Core Diamond has built a house over here. These houses are good to build on a land nomad style map like this because they give you a little bit of vision. Like, let's say that your opponent had a town over here and your opponent came over here to build their market and you saw the market foundation. That would give you a clue as to where your opponent was. Whereas if you built your houses just around your town, I mean, it's very unlikely that your opponent's going to be this close to you. You know, the probability of your opponent increases up to 100% basically as you have an increasing radius away from your town center. So you might have a 1% chance of having an opponent that's somewhere within a 20 tile band, and maybe but within a 40 tile band it jumps up to 20% or something like that. So you build out here because you're going to have a much higher chance of potentially encountering your opponent, although these houses are kind of close together. So if his opponent is over here or over here, you know, maybe it doesn't add as much value as if they were built down here or something. But it also, you're not going to send your villager down there just to build it, right? So it all depends on where your villager starts. Flying mouse is usually on these land nomad style maps. You want to build your town center on a wood line, and that'll leave you with the wood necessary to either build a dock or a mill. And you build a dock if it's regular nomad with water, and you build a mill if it's land nomad, apparently. And that's what Flying Mouse has done. Core Diamond's, he's kind of built his town center on a wood line, I guess. I mean, ultimately, could it be closer? Yes, but he's not building the lumber camp. He is also building the mill first, and he's chopping directly underneath the town center, or to the closest of his ability. And he is gathering from these mouflons here, which are about 150 food apiece. So earlier I said that Core Diamond wants to be closer to Flying Mouse. Why is that? Well, Core Diamond is playing as a civilization that is all about towers and fortifications and gathering stone. He's got lots of tower options as the Koreans. He's got lots of good unique unit and archer type options. Koreans love their castle drops. And all of that gets easier if Core Diamond is closer to Flying Mouse. Flying Mouse, conversely, kind of the opposite, right? Flying Mouse is playing as the Berbers, and he does not have great defenses at all. So Flying Mouse actually just knows about this house here. He might assume that Core Diamond is over here, or he may have no idea. He's kind of passively goat scouting, but the goats can't really find very much, especially if he's only got 2 of them scouting. And he's not, I guess he's staging another for collection, but he's mostly relying on the mufflons and the berries and the camels that he just ate for food. Let's see what Core Diamond knows. So Core Diamond does not have any idea where Flying Mouse is. He knows where he's not, but he doesn't really know where Flying Mouse is, unless a sheep got converted over here or something and we missed it. So the Berbers are all about mobility, right? They're not a defensive civilization, as the Koreans are. The Berbers would absolutely love to be able to go fast castle into knights. That's kind of their power spike, early castle age. They get those cheaper knights. We can actually take a look at the Berber bonuses. Some people say, and they're actually very skilled people that say this too, that if you play as a civilization, you have to use their bonuses, otherwise you're a noob. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it really depends. So we can see that their big one is that stable units cost 15% less in Castle Age. Now they also get a bonus where their villagers move faster, and that may have helped Flying Mouse get all of his villagers together faster on Nomad, and that could help him if he were out of food and he needed to scout with the villagers. They actually both kind of have villager scouting bonuses in a way. Flying Mouse villagers being faster, and Core Diamond's villagers having additional line of sight. So they get those camel archers, which they love to make, that absolutely eat enemy cavalry archers. Not that Core Diamond is going to be making any, probably. But the camel archers are also good against infantry, and they're just a powerful unit in general. They have, I think, 7 base attack. So they do essentially double the damage against mangonels, or they do significantly more damage to siege weapons. They're just a pain in the rear, and they're fast, and they run around, and they're just very annoying to deal with, unfortunately. And the map being big, wide, open, you know, it's harder to defend this. It's not like there's a choke point that Core Diamond can wall off and then slowly do the keep and the bombard cannon and the castle creep on Flying Mouse. Core Diamond's going to have to improvise here. He's building a barracks now, and he's advanced to the feudal age. So if we look at Core Diamond, I don't really know what his economy is set up to do. If he's even set... Oh, he is making a militia. He's making a militia. No, he's making a spearman. So he's making a couple spearmen. So maybe he thinks he's going to be scout rushed. That would be my guess. Although Flying Mouse is not up to the feudal age yet. I say that just as Flying Mouse gets up to the feudal age. And let's take a look at what Flying Mouse has. So let's actually, before we do that, we'll toggle the Fog of War. So Core Diamond has not scouted Flying Mouse. He hasn't found a stable or anything. He doesn't have any reason to believe that Flying Mouse would go scouts except Flying Mouse's civilization. But Flying Mouse is not going scouts. Flying Mouse hasn't even built a barracks. Flying Mouse has built a market and a blacksmith because he is going fast castle. Flying Mouse is looking at this map and he is correctly recognizing that he wants, as Berbers, to get that faster castle age time. He wants to get up to castle age quickly, take advantage of the cheap knights, or build a castle himself and then make the camel archers. And it looks like that's the route that he's going. He may feel like there's not enough food to go knights. He might not have the economy to go knights. I mean, look at this. There's 2 berry bushes left. Flying Mouse's hungry villagers have eaten everything. So if we look at Flying Mouse's point of view, he's already a third of the way up to castle age, and he is going to make those really irritating camel archers. And I think this could be a quick game. Now, Core Diamond, to his credit, it looks like he just made 1 spearman, I think. We go back to Core Diamond's point of view in the Fog of War. No, he made 2. He made 2, and he's picking up goats and stuff. So he's getting some value out of the scouting, but he's basically looked everywhere for Flying Mouse, and he's only now just found him. So Core Diamond is going to know that Flying Mouse is taking berries, which does not tell him very much. But maybe this mill gives him an idea of where Flying Mouse is, and he finds some more stuff. He finds a lot of stuff on stone, so this should be a really big clue to him that Flying Mouse is up to no good. Flying Mouse is on his way to the castle age and probably plans to build a castle. So what I was going to do is I was going to go to Flying Mouse's economy, and actually let's just go to his tech tree real quick and check something. I'm pretty sure that the camel archers cost wood and food, or sorry, wood and gold, and they do. So therefore, Flying Mouse does not need a big sprawling farm economy to make the camel archers. He just needs villagers that are on wood and gold, and then maybe has a few on food just to continuously make villagers. We can see that Flying Mouse's economy is wide open. He was not expecting Core Diamond to do anything in feudal age, and Core Diamond has something in his archery range, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's some archers. And Core Diamond, realizing he's probably going to be attacked soon because Flying Mouse is in castle age, and because he scouted activity on the stone. So Core Diamond is going to build these palisades walls, which I disagree with. I think that he should stonewall. I think he's kind of hoping that he's going to get up, but, you know, you could probably stonewall to here, maybe. He's got decent awareness of yeah, he knows about this. So he could stonewall to this, he could stonewall to the edge of the map, and then this could be a stonewall. But he should definitely okay, he's sending people to do some walling. And he's going to find himself an extra goat. That's kind of nice, but I think that this should be a stonewall because these camel archers have so much attack. They can just chisel through palisade walls very easily. So this is not going to last. This might hold like 1 camel archer for a little while. But the thing about the camel archers too is if he were expecting knights, right? If he didn't scout the stone, if he expected knights, palisade walls would be acceptable. because his opponent would have a bunch of knights, and the knights would be attacking the palisade walls, and you guys know how it is. You can just build limitless houses behind, and that's okay. But with camel archers, they'll just shoot over the wall. You know, I thought about making like an Age of Empires 2 map or mod or something. I think that this might be open here. This could be a problem for Core Diamond. See, all of this wall building exercise out here, none of it means anything if the camel archers can just walk through. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And Core Diamond has built himself a sizable archer army here. And in theory, archers should trade efficiently. He gets the armor for free. Archers should trade efficiently against camel archers. The problem is that these archers are technologically inferior because they only have feudal age upgrades, even though there are a lot of them, and they are out of position, right? They should be here to defend this gold, and Flying Mouse is just going to walk in with 3 camel archers because this is open, I think. Oh, this was open. So everything that Core Diamond did down here, waste of time. Waste of time and resources, unfortunately for him. And Flying Mouse picks off a villager, and now he's going to go around looking for some more damage. So Core Diamond needs to get home to defend his people. And the military is not moving. Core Diamond has reached the castle age. No, that mining camp's never going to go up. This villager, he's got a couple, he's looking at it like it's only 3 units, but so far these 3 units have killed 2 villagers. And Core Diamond chasing these 3 camel archers away. And these camel archers actually only have feudal upgrades themselves. He's chasing them away with 2 units. But this gold is idle. And Flying Mouse still running around looking for damage. Core Diamond he's blocked this up, so Flying Mouse can't get in this way. And now Flying Mouse is just running around Core Diamond's base looking for some more damage. Core Diamond going back to the stone, trying to get some people back to work. Flying Mouse killing another villager. Flying Mouse really bullying Core Diamond here. Killing the skirmisher. And Core Diamond trickling the skirmishers in instead of going back to fight it. It could be a worthwhile exchange. Core Diamond is here, he's in Castle Age, and his archers have shown up, and he's looking for some damage in turn on Flying Mouse. Now, there is one of the things that we should check. And yes, so it is applied properly. Core Diamond did apply his 5% handicap. We forgot to check it earlier, but the reason that we know is because his farmers have 41 HP. So this was applied because these guys are deemed to have such a large elo difference that Core Diamond needs a little bit of an edge. And so that gives it to him. So Core Diamond's score is actually ahead of Flying Mouse's. Maybe in part because of that handicap. Now, here are these villagers. Core Diamond's hoping that Flying Mouse will not discover this. Flying Mouse has a camel archer, and it looks like he's... Has he stopped making camel archers? He may have. He may have deemed it not worth the time and effort anymore. Or he may have run out of resources. Although we're looking at his resources now, and he could make more. But these villagers, interestingly enough, they can't get back in, so they're just going to build a monastery. And probably what I would do if I were Core Diamond is I would delete this wall and just walk back in, and then build a new wall behind it. But the gate is here, and gates in theory were made to be walked through. But he can't walk through the gate without Flying Mouse noticing. Flying Mouse is still on one town center. Oh, okay. He's dealing with this. So Core Diamond getting in the back of Flying Mouse's base. And it looks like there was a fight with a mangonel eventually getting focused down by Core Diamond. Flying Mouse is kind of playing with fire here. I mean, why would you leave your villagers out? You know that your opponent has just killed your mangonel over here. Or maybe you should have known if he had seen it. But yeah, it's time to pull these guys home. It's time to make a scorpion or 2. Scorpions have extra pierce armor, so they are harder for archers to destroy. Mangonel gets a delicious shot, though. And this is something the villagers can fight off at this point. And yeah, that's what Flying Mouse is going to do. Alright, that works too. Combination of crushing your own villagers with rocks, and the villagers themselves keeping the archers busy. So, Flying Mouse has managed to clean up Core Diamond's army that was over here. I didn't see whether or not it got very much damage. I don't know. I would assume that it actually did do damage. So that was what was... that was actually doing value for Core Diamond, because it distracted Flying Mouse, and he stopped making the camel archers, and he stopped pressuring Core Diamond. So Core Diamond is going to come back with some military, but it's skirmishers now. He's teched fully into skirm, essentially. I mean, he gets, as Koreans, he gets the armor for free, right? But he's got the attack, and he needs to go elite skirm. That'll help him further against these camel archers. And he's managed to push them back, and I guess he's happy to kind of live in his own little corner here for now, but we'll probably see Flying Mouse either, yeah, he's going to send the mangonels forward. The mangonels will be highly effective against the skirmishers. And if you're Flying Mouse, you have two options. They could actually be better in combination. I would build a forward siege workshop. I would stop screwing around and just build a forward siege workshop. There's no need to build another town center. Not that Flying Mouse has built another town center. He's got 4 farms, he's on stone, he's on lots and lots of gold, and he's got a forward mill here. And I just try to close out the game before my opponent's handicap just becomes overwhelming. Flying Mouse doesn't see that. Okay, he sees it now. And he gets a shot in. And Mangonel shooting uphill. It's actually, that's what's kept these archers alive. 2 Mangonels would be a lot harder for Core Diamond to micro against, though. And Flying Mouse is kind of reorganizing his army here, grouping everything together. He's got the 2 Mangonels, he's got the camels. He does not know that Core Diamond has made a scout. So Core Diamond has made a stable, probably because he sees these Mangonels, and Flying Mouse caught out of position. And the monk is trying to convert the scout, but the Mangonel crushes both. I guess the monk would have died anyway, so it was a worthwhile trade. The camel archers should be sufficient to pick off the scouts. Koreans, I think they get all the scout upgrades in Castle Age. I could be wrong. I know that in Imperial Age they have some of the worst hussars imaginable. But yeah, you really don't want to you want to put these guys on stand ground, and you want to just have them guard these mangonels from scouts. Well, the mangonels are really what does the push, but Flying Mouse has got different plans for the push. Flying Mouse is going to build a castle. This is a get out of my game castle. Look at this castle. And it is a contest, so Core Diamond sees that Flying Mouse has a bunch of villagers loitering, trying to find a place to build the castle. And Flying Mouse actually gives up. He's like, well, alright, I'll just build it on your gold instead. Now, he does manage to crush a villager before then. And wow, that was a really good mangonel hit right there, actually. So Flying Mouse is just going to build it there. Unfortunately for Flying Mouse, Core Diamond has another gold back here, but it is fortunate for Core Diamond. And Flying Mouse, he does know about that gold. So, he knows about the gold, but this will waste some of his opponent's time, so it's still worth it. And Core Diamond buying another castle. Holy crap. Alright, well, you know, this still might work out for Core Diamond, although Flying Mouse managed to get that castle up in time. That castle doesn't do anything for Core Diamond, actually, if you want to know the truth. Interestingly, Core Diamond or Flying Mouse, somehow this wall was destroyed. I think it might have been destroyed. I don't see a reason why Core Diamond would have deleted it. But there's no reason to build this castle here. What does this castle do for you? You've already lost this gold. You've already lost these production buildings. There's no need to build this castle here. There's no need to die for this. Build this castle back here or something, where your opponent can't go around you. Or just stonewall here. Stonewall here and spend the resources on Imp. And then plant your trebuchet here with some monks and take the enemy castle down. That's the play. But Core Diamond is like, gotta have this castle. So here comes the village. And he's building a siege workshop. And siege workshop could help him make rams. And he could take down Flying Mouse's castle by deleting this barracks and sending in some rams. And the rams will be protected by his own castle's arrow fire. So it could potentially work, but it's just not... It's not the best way, I don't think. I really don't think that he needs this castle here. As the Koreans. And Flying Mouse is thinking the Imperial strategy. Generally, as you get higher elo, you see two castles staring at each other, and you're like, alright, well, whoever gets hit first wins. And that's very often the case. Not always, but very often that is the case. So Core Diamond gets the castle up, he pulls back, and now he's gonna, I think he's gonna saturate this gold, because he needs gold. Now, Core Diamond, I don't think he's anywhere near clicking up to the Imperial Age. No, he's not. He doesn't have anywhere near the food. So Flying Mouse is Imperial Age, and Core Diamond, yeah, like, he calls the GG. He's like, yeah, I can't get up to Imperial Age in time. So Flying Mouse keeping on the overwhelming pressure, but Core Diamond resigning with a score lead, interestingly enough. Let's take a look at the statistics to see how that happened. Flying Mouse with a almost 3-to-1 kill-to-death ratio. Neither of them destroyed any buildings. And Core Diamond actually had a larger army. Core Diamond with more resources collected. This could have something to do with the handicap. Or at least more food and wood collected. Flying Mouse with more stone and a lot more gold collected. Flying Mouse with faster castle and Imperial Age times. Core Diamond with a faster Feudal Age time, but he didn't really do anything with it. Flying Mouse, I think, correctly going fast castle, recognizing the limitations of his food economy, and going into Camel Archers was a very compelling strategy. A very commanding strategy, I should say. Alright, so both players built 2 castles in the end. Core Diamond got 2 relics and had slightly more relic gold and only had a villager high of 52 compared to Flying Mouse's 50. So Core Diamond not really with the villager advantage at all. They were both one town center. So let's go back to the replays. GG, well played to Core Diamond. It's tough standing up to Flying Mouse and that big elo difference, even with handicap helping out. So now we're going to look at their second game, which is Malians versus Turks on Hyperrandom. Oops. This is the same game. Did we not select it properly? I mean, this is... Let's try... Oh, no, 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 no. Apparently when you double click it automatically launches it. Alright. Okay, so now that we are resting on this one, now we're going to say load replay. That was very weird. I mean, you guys all saw it, right? Alright, here we go. So, we kind of have a Budapest-style map. Flying Mouse with very bad wood lines. Look at this. And you start with an elite skirmisher as a scouting unit. Flying Mouse using the skirmisher to lure a wild boar, which is very clever, except the wild boar loses interest in the skirmisher. And Flying Mouse could abuse this. He could actually lame with this skirmisher, so we'll have to watch and see if he does that. There's a turkey here. Alright, so he's got that food underneath his town center. We have water in the back. I don't know how much it will come into effect, but this is kind of a safe fish boom. Safe fish boom is never a good thing for us viewers. It means that people have crap tons of economy, and they just go fast Imperial Age, and you don't really get to see much action. But maybe, given how close the players are, that will not be the case. Now, there's a huge forest here. Wow, look at this forest. And it's got a really sharp right angle to it as well. So if I were Core Diamond, like I would be all over this wood line. This is a great place to build a lumber camp, but he's going to build it here instead. So Core Diamond not really exploiting that wood advantage. He probably just sees this and he assumes it's like a Knorr. He doesn't know that it does all of this back here. It's just a huge wood line. All right, Core Diamond sending a scout forward. He's going to find his other turkey. And it looks like there are some peacocks, too. I don't know about the historical accuracy of that. I don't think turkeys and peacocks really live in the same place. Although, it does kind of give me an idea. These turkeys are historically not known for being really tame in the time of the French and Indian War. Maybe for a future season of Alchemy League, I could reskin peacocks to look like turkeys. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to do, to tell you the truth. And then use them as like huntable animals out in the woods and stuff, because they were quite dominant throughout all of North America. Oh no! Alright, so Flying Mouse is doing an alligator rush. These alligators don't have any food on them. I think they're the one exception on Hyperrandom, because if villagers are going to do something and a predator attacks them and the villager kills the predator, instead of finishing whatever they were doing, the villager will collect food from the predator instead. So Flying Mouse just trying to keep ahead of these alligators. Alligators are actually new. They were crocodiles. I think they basically just look like crocodiles. But alligators have a somewhat wider head, and they don't have teeth that stick out. Their teeth close nicely into their jaws. It's not exactly clear to me why alligators would be different in that way. Maybe the alligators are, because alligators are generally from swampy areas of the world, like the southern United States. I'm talking about like Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, the swamps of those states. And it could be that the vegetation in those areas favored a creature that, would not get reeds and random crap caught on their mouths as they were swimming along. Whereas crocodiles are generally from like Africa and Australia and like underprivileged desert regions, where maybe the water is a little bit clearer, and so that wasn't as important. And also there were bigger animals, so they maybe needed bigger, more like gripping, exposed teeth. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a reason why alligators would have a different tooth arrangement from crocodiles. And Flying Mouse trying to lure these alligators in. Maybe he's gonna just harass this villager, hoping that the alligators will go after Core Diamond's villager instead. But these alligators, they're like Rudy. Once they get their mind set on something, they don't give up easily. And I like how both of these players are having a skirmisher battle here with help of the wildlife. So Flying Mouse trying to just lure this all over to this wood line so that Core Diamond has to fight a bunch of wolves. And once his skirmisher dies, Core Diamond trying to trap it, which is the wrong move. That's exactly what Flying Mouse wanted. And now Core Diamond is being drushed by basically 3 wild animals. He doesn't lose any villagers, but he's got to evacuate the whole wood line. I'm gonna go back and clip that later. That's really funny. That was actually probably one of the most successful. You don't really lose villagers to a wolf rush anymore, but like forcing your opponent to evacuate their entire wood line to deal with a wolf rush is pretty funny. So Core Diamond, you're a champ. That was really funny. Thank you, Flying Mouse. Alright, so they both lost their scout. They're both even. Core Diamond with a little bit of wasted time, but he's also got the handicap, so that kind of makes up for it. And Flying Mouse has clicked up to the Feudal Age, and Core Diamond's actually already clicked up to the Feudal Age a long time ago. He's almost Feudal Age. And Flying Mouse is about a third of the way there. So we can see that both players have docked. You generally do want to dock. It's just like extra food, right? It's like an extra villager. Now, the developers recently nerfed fishing ships, and I think it's a really good change. I'm glad for that, because fish is just too OP. It's like if there was water, you basically had to go water. And that's not how it should be, right? It should be, yeah, you probably long-term would want to go water, but, maybe you want to punish your opponent's greed for going water. And instead of building a dock and fishing ships and investing all that wood, maybe you invest that wood in some forward buildings and do like a really scary push on your opponent, right? Like that's the kind of thing that should be able to compete with this. And if fishing is too good, it can't. Which is why safe fish is generally bad for competitivity. But it is a feature of Hyperrandom. Hyperrandom is a very super random map, and that's just something that you have to accept. Comes along with that. Alright, so Flying Mouse is preparing some man-at-arms. He's got 4 militia for now, and the Man-at-Arms upgrade is on its way. Core Diamond has no way to know about this because his scout is dead. But he might get lucky. Yeah, these Man-at-Arms, Core Diamond kind of seeing that, he starts a palisade and he's like, nope, better run away. And these Man-at-Arms are now in range in the town center. The town center fires. Luckily for Flying Mouse, he does not hit Core Diamond. And Core Diamond walling this up very nicely. So Core Diamond doing a good job of walling out the Man-at-Arms here. He could use another house right here, connected to the dock, because Flying Mouse could just go around. Actually, the dock shoots arrows now, so maybe Flying Mouse doesn't want to go around. That's another really cool water bonus that's been provided. Docks can garrison 5 fishing ships. Unless you're Gurjaras, and they can garrison like 10 or something like that. Twice as many. So, I'm very glad for the latest patch. I think it was a good patch. I usually criticize the developers a lot. But, you know, sometimes they do get it right. And we have to point that out. You know, they're, at the very least, even when they get it wrong, they're at least trying. They are at least trying. They're investing in the game. They're giving us all kinds of new stuff, and we should be supportive of that as a community, as long as they do the right things. But even if they don't do the right things, we should still give them credit for trying. That's how life works. Now, I don't know why Core Diamond is... He's trying to get out here for a greedy wall, but Flying Mouse sees what Core Diamond is up to and stops it. And now he's got 4 Man-at-Arms chasing after this villager. Core Diamond has not gotten Loom yet, actually, of all things. He probably should get Loom, and he should probably delete this wall segment and just run home. He deletes it, but he may not be able to keep the villager alive. No, he's distracted. So Flying Mouse, with a little bit better unit control there, picks off the villager and then runs. So Core Diamond's archers are not able to defend that villager. Sadly for Core Diamond, but he at least got some archers out. He's heavily on gold now. He's got enough villagers on gold to sustain production from like 5 ranges. But he's only got 1 range, so he really needs to move out with these archers. They're not doing anything here. And he could probably wall here and wall here, and he could keep these Man-at-Arms from ever bothering him again. But Flying Mouse has docked Core Diamond's lake. And so Flying Mouse is continuing to fish, and Core Diamond is not. So that is kind of a disadvantage for Core Diamond. Looks like Core Diamond has a grappling ship, a Hulk, attacking his dock, and he's got a fire galley attacking his dock too. So he's given up on water. He's not going to go back. He's throwing down a bunch of farms. So this shows us where Core Diamond's headspace is at. I would love to see Core Diamond's archers actually push out and go after Flying Mouse for a change. But Flying Mouse is on the prowl looking for Core Diamond. These are Malian long swordsmen. They inherently have a little bit of extra pierce armor. And they get a decent surround on this lady, and she is going to go down. Core Diamond just notices. And Flying Mouse is going after this other villager. He's probably going to finish her off too. Man-at-Arms are just a little bit faster than villagers. And I guess Core Diamond is not able to pull her to safety fast enough. So Flying Mouse has done enormous damage with this rush. He's played it the way that he should be playing it, which is kill my opponent before my opponent can get into Imperial Age and take advantage of all the bonuses. Alright, so there's something inside of this dock. I'm not sure what it is. It's probably a fishing ship. Maybe not, though. Yeah, it is a fishing ship. And the fishing ship being garrisoned in the dock will allow the dock to fire arrows, maybe? It doesn't look like it. I don't know how it works, actually. Maybe you need more than 1 fishing ship to fire arrows. Well, I mean, you definitely do, because it's not firing arrows now, but maybe you need, like, 2 fishing ships to get your first arrow or something, which is kind of annoying. But it probably works similar to a town center, and I don't think a town center with a single villager really does much either. So Core Diamond does not have fletching, so that's why these archers took forever to take down those Man-at-Arms. And there's more Man-at-Arms! And Core Diamond just trying to wall off this palisade here, but Flying Mouse, he just rudely interrupted him. Flying Mouse has made more of these Man-at-Arms. And he's going to get another villager, probably. No, he's not! Core Diamond manages to save it. So the 5 archers here, these Man-at-Arms are super weak. But the wall is opened, and Flying Mouse could come back in if he wanted to. These man-at-arms are essentially free because he's got so many fishing ships working. And let's check and see if Flying Mouse is close to the next stage. Yeah, Flying Mouse is clicked up to the Castle Age. Core Diamond is still getting chased around, grappling with, well, grappling with Flying Mouse's Hulk for one, and then also fighting with Flying Mouse in other places, dealing with insurgent man-at-arms. Oh, okay. Well, that was just in time. It's good for Core Diamond. Flying Mouse was going to go back there, too. What do you even do as Turks? Well, Turks do mine gold faster. So, Core Diamond doesn't need so many villagers on gold here. It's got a bunch of archers in the back. Turks don't really like going archers either, but I guess they can competently go archers. And Core Diamond resolving to wall massively. I mean, Core Diamond could basically have walled to the edge of the map all the way up here. He could have exploited this very long wood line. It would have required him to send a villager far away, but some stone walls up here, totally worth it. Always worth it, in my opinion. So, what's there left to talk about? Well, I think when Flying Mouse gets to Castle Age, he's going to make Mullion crossbows, which is very strange. He's making archers now. That is a very unusual choice for Flying Mouse. I would just, like, look how close this is. Just build a forward siege workshop. Build a forward siege workshop. Build a couple more barracks. Go long swords. Make rams. I mean, it should not be that complex, but for some reason, Flying Mouse has decided that he really wants archers. And I guess we're just gonna have to. I guess we're just gonna have to see how that works out. I'm skeptical. I don't agree with Mullion archers. I think it's not a good investment. Mullions don't get bracer, so I know. The civ bonuses and the tech tree shouldn't affect what the right thing to do is. But hear me out. If you make a bunch of Mullion crossbows and you get to Imperial Age, and you're going to be stuck with a bunch of units that don't get the final range and attack upgrade. So, wait, what is this? It's a transport ship. Well, unfortunately for Flying Mouse, Core Diamond has thought of that already, and he's walled in the back, too. So Core Diamond with just a ton of walls. Could you imagine if Core Diamond had walled this up with stone walls instead? He could still be fishing this lake out right now. But instead, Flying Mouse is everywhere. Core Diamond just trying to survive. So Core Diamond gonna have to repair this palisade, or build a house behind it. That works too. Build two houses. So Flying Mouse decides to change attack locations. Core Diamond bringing his archers around to chase this off. Flying Mouse is going to attack here. I think this is a scary number of longswords. Look at how fast this palisade wall is going down. Just build stone walls, man. Okay, here we go. House. And the archers are here to chase this out. So Flying Mouse trying to get in. He's probing Core Diamond's defenses. Core Diamond may not recognize that there's a knight here. He may not realize it, I should say. He's got to defend this location. He's got to defend this location. He's got to defend over here. He's just being attacked everywhere, and it's super annoying for Core Diamond. In fact, I would say it's more than annoying. It's existential. And Core Diamond just finally calls the GG. He's just had enough. It looks like Flying Mouse is going to get in, and he feels like he's too far behind. And that's two solid wins for Flying Mouse, playing very aggressively in typical Flying Mouse style. Let's check out the statistics. So Flying Mouse with 13 kills, 9 deaths. He destroyed 2 buildings and lost none, and had a largest army of 16. He also had more resources collected across the board, probably owing to the fact that he had a fishing economy. Core Diamond faster to Field Age, but he didn't really use it very much. And Flying Mouse faster to the Castle Age. Flying Mouse with a highly successful man-at-arms attack against Core Diamond. Flying Mouse with a villager high of 53 and core diamonds at 42. So we'll go back to the replays. Let's check. Just one sec, guys. Let us check the draft for Kiertastrich versus Oladushek. So Kiertastrich has the options of Magyars, Vietnamese, Dravidians, Italians, and Bengalis. So he seems to like archer civilizations. And Oladushek likes the unique unit civilizations. He's got Malay, Slavs, Saracens, Koreans, and Berbers. All right, so let's get back into the game. And these guys played 3 games. Here is their first. You start with an archery range. Let's go. So we got, and you start with a some kind of Queen Scout, it looks like. So we got Kiertastrich playing as the Cyan Bengalis, and we have Oladushek playing as the Red Koreans. So we got, and we've seen this style of hyperrandom map before. We got some really nice mixed oak and birch forest here, Zetnus. He always likes to do a good job of mixing the forests so that they look good. And indeed, that is the case. They definitely look pretty good. So we got some pines in the north and in the south. This looks like it could be a someplace in real life, but it's also a fair and balanced random map script. So what is this? This is a Jacqueline of Hainaut, and she's got 100 HP, so probably not killable by the town center. I don't think anybody will lose their Jacqueline to town center arrow fire. And we've got the new Javelina here. What? Look at this. This Javelina has 60 food. 60 food. There's a scrawny little Javelina. Wow. So, and we got some bears. These bears have no food, actually. These bears are toxic. They were banned from using the calculator. That's how toxic they were. Permanently banned. And so, therefore, you can't eat them. It's not that they don't have meat on them, it's that the meat is inedible. So we got some maples, some birches, and some bushes here. It looks and it just looks really nice. We got some peacocks. So they're speaking in Russian, and I don't really know what they're saying. So apologies if they're Russian, if what they're saying in Russian does not is not nice. If it doesn't meet the standards for sportsmanship of the league. There's no way to know, but these guys are friends, so we can assume that they're probably saying nice things to each other. Or if they are being mean to each other, that it doesn't bother either one. So you could go out here and take the extra resources, but you have to be careful because there are wild animals defending it. Now, I don't know that we're going to see a wild animal moment like last time, because apparently this chick can just walk through the woods and not have to worry about wild animals. They will see her beauty and be unable to harm her. She'll be charming them. So she's charming enough to not be chased by wild animals, but not so charming that she tames them and makes them attack her enemies. So they just don't care. She just walks right by him, and they're not going to follow. She just walk. Look at this. She just walks right up to this boar. Just walks past. It doesn't matter. Not boar. Sorry, bear. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care. All right, so guys, let's talk about the civilization matchup. Let's take this a little bit more seriously. Bengalis for Kiertastrich. What are they known for? They're apparently an elephant and naval civilization. Well, the navy part isn't going to come into play for this game. Apparently they get 2 villagers for free whenever they advance to an age, which is kind of ridiculous. Their melee mounted units have +2 attack versus skirmishers. Monks are better armored. Their ships regenerate. And their elephants ignore 25% of incoming bonus damage and resist conversion. Wow. And they're known for these Rathas. So probably Kiratostrich will like do some kind of crazy fast castle into Rathas, maybe. He's building a mill here, so he's going to mill these peacocks. And just so you guys know, these peacocks are fatter than the Javelina. Look at this, 98 versus 60. So these peacocks have almost twice as much usable meat. This Javelina is just filled with worms. Alright, let's see what Oladushek is up to. Oladushek, he's got 4 on wood, so nothing special. If he had 2 on wood, that would tell me that he was planning on doing like some super fast feudal age. And I wouldn't put it past him. He's getting loom now, and he's building another villager, but he does not seem to have plans to click up anytime soon. We got 21 villagers and 1 scout unit, and he's harvesting this Javelina now. But it's not going to result in being able to click up. Alright, he wants up. He's not queued another villager. This is a 2K player, so not queuing a villager is definitely intentional. He's probably going to force drop off, and now he's going to click up. Hello, Oladushek. It's time to click up. Alright, he clicks up. Oh no! Alright, this is what he's doing. He's luring... What? Oh, this Javelina has 420 food. Whoa, that's a lot. And apparently the wolves are like helping the Javelina. So this Javelina was somewhere else on the map, and that's why it had significantly more food. These Argallis have 169. I don't know where that Javelina came from. Oh, here it is. So it was basically down here. It was kind of in more of a neutral location. And yeah, these ones are very meaty. So this is Mama So here. Or maybe it's just not infested. Alright, Kiratostrich is still taking the peacocks. He's on his way up to the feudal age. He's clicked up after Oladushek. Oladushek is almost to the feudal age. He already has an archery range. He's building a house here. He's building a blacksmith. But he hasn't... No, he's building a market. He hasn't queued up any units. So Oladushek is attempting a fast castle. It seems. He's not making any archers as Koreans. And he hasn't built a barracks, so it's not like he's interested in making a stable or anything else, or making barracks units. He's interested in a faster castle age, and he uses the market and the archery range to click up to castle. So Oladushek going castle age. Kiratostrich has a very forward and somewhat exposed gold and stone mine here. Actually, all of his resources are forward. He could potentially come back here for resources, but that might be tricky. Oladushek building a forward outpost to inform him of Kiratostrich's plans. And Kiratostrich, what Oladushek is able to discern is that Kiratostrich has built a mill. Kiratostrich is no longer on these peacocks. Actually, Oladushek just scouting this now. He's going to be very pleased. He's going to be very pleased to see that Kiratostrich has a forward gold, has 2 forward golds and 2 forward stones. So I don't think that Oladushek will be able to contain himself. I think Oladushek will definitely come over here and try to drop a castle or do some kind of forward to deny these resources. And Kiratostrich thinks that too, because he's building a watchtower. So Oladushek is just going to take a little bit of this stone and then I guess just leave. Go away. What? Oh, I see. This Jacqueline of Hainu is here just to stop Oladushek's villager. Alright, it's a good thing for Oladushek that this tower was not garrisoned, otherwise that villager may have been killed. But he did manage to get all of the stone that he could carry, and he's leaving now, and he's going to build an outpost down here. So Oladushek has vision on Kiratostrich's forward resources, so he's got to know. Alright, he's building a monastery. He's actually playing defensively. I think he's a little bit worried, maybe. Maybe he's worried that Kiritastrich is going to show up with a bunch of Rathas, and that's why he's building this monastery here, so that he can convert them. And Kiritastrich is still feudal age, though. Kiritastrich, I guess he's going to be castle age soon, maybe in less than a minute. And, oh, a second mining camp for optimal efficiency. I love those multi-purpose mining camps, but yeah, this might be... Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of painful. These two mining camps right next to each other. But I guess if you got the wood for it, you can do it. Now, Oladushek has made a cavalry archer. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is with that. If he intends to make more of them. I doubt it. I don't think it's a good unit. Especially for his civilization. Okay, Oladushek has made a monk. And I think the cavalry archer is just a scout. I think he just wants to know where everything is. And he's sending some monks out, maybe to get this monk out to get a relic. Yeah, he's gonna snag this relic here. And this villager building outposts everywhere. This is a practitioner of Buddhism, this monk. He's got the proper robes and staff. And in order to carry the relic, he tucks the staff in his pocket. Now he's carrying that whole relic back. And Oladushek, coming into Kiritastrich's base now, he is aware of the fact that Kiritastrich is building a monastery. He knows what the foundation of a monastery looks like. Kiritastrich has actually walled this area of the map off. And Oladushek deletes the cavalry archer so that Kiritastrich cannot have it. Alright, so Kiritastrich is forward here. He's got some archers on Oladushek's mill. Kiritastrich is not able to get a villager pick off there. He sees that Oladushek is on stone, which is never a good thing as Koreans. Oladushek has played this very conservatively against Kiritastrich. I think Oladushek really wants to win. I think he really wants to win this time. Been playing quite cautiously. Alright, Kiritastrich with a forward siege workshop. I like that. Oladushek has built another tower, just for good measure. Make sure that nobody can... Well, he doesn't need murder holes now. Although, I guess if Kiritastrich stood exactly in between these two towers, he could attack villagers without retaliation. Alright, so Kiritastrich, I don't think gets the rams, though. He gets those siege elephants. Not that he's attempting to make any, but I guess we could check this. I would assume he gets the siege elephants. He's an elephant civilization. So, but some elephant civilizations do get rams. Oh, that's right. They rearranged this thing. Yeah, armored elephant and siege elephants. So be it. So we got an armored elephant, we got a couple of monks, we got some archers, and what is this? Is this a monk rush? I don't really know. I think that this point is going to be too hard for Kiritastrich to push in on. Kiritastrich may realize this as well. This armored elephant is attacking the house, and he's actually being healed by the monks. The same rate that he's dealt damage. Now, you can't garrison armored elephants. That would be pretty weird. But you can heal them. Could you imagine garrisoning an armored elephant? What that would even entail? That would be pretty funny, though. Maybe it's like maybe it's something that you can modify. Yeah, so this point is too hard. Oladushek has built 2 towers, like it's a Lord of the Rings movie. Or book, and he's building a castle on the same location, so it's not really practical. But Kiritastrich could easily come over here and attack this archery range and potentially even deny some gold, and he should definitely go for it. Oladushek threatened. He's gonna build a defensive tower here to keep Kiritastrich from pushing in on his town center. I don't think that's the weak point, though. I think the weak point is the archery range. Kiritastrich just has to expand his horizons. But actually it's Kiritastrich who is on the offensive here. And Oladushek just quietly obtaining relics. Got a monk coming back with another relic. I'm not sure how many Oladushek has. We can check. He's got 3. And this is the 4th. Alright, so that rocket cart is destroyed. And relic countdown has initiated. So Oladushek has captured all of the relics. And now he has to defend the monastery. This monastery has... Oh, atonement required. Wait, what? Oh, to convert enemy monks. Okay, I see. So Kiritastrich tried to convert these monks and couldn't. So these siege elephants probably want to destroy this monastery. I guess they're going for the... They're going for the town center first. Kiritastrich getting some conversions here. He's going to anyway. The villagers are trying to build through all of this persuasive servant of these monks. But I think the monks are going to convert some before the tower finishes. Or not. I guess it wasn't a very moving sermon. Kiritastrich building a castle here. I don't understand this castle. Why build it there when you can build it here? Right? Oh, I don't think Oladushek can really secure this area. Okay. We got monks going for conversion on the rocket cart. And Oladushek trying to keep these villagers alive. Or this monastery alive. He needs to repair the monastery. And he's trying to chase off this armored elephant with some villagers. We got a lot of great screenshots here, if you want to know the truth. This is kind of funny. There we go. Alright, so manages to keep the monastery up. You know, that relic countdown is real. Like, Kiritastrich playing very aggressively against Oladushek. I think he's doing justifiable damage. He's destroyed Oladushek's town center. Oladushek actually has no town center now, but no town center, no problem. All he has to do is just keep the monastery alive. And town centers are for wimps anyway, although Oladushek's going to find he needs a town center in order to go to Imperial Age. But really, he should just build more guard towers. More guard towers, more monasteries, more monks. Oladushek has a path to victory here that does not entail a town center, which it would be really funny. Alright, so here come these villagers. And these villagers are going to probably drop a castle. Yes, there's the castle. And that would be a big annoyance for Oladushek, because that means that he'll have to continuously repair this monastery. Now, Kiritastrich already has the range upgrades. Oladushek has completed this stone wall off here. And Kiritastrich focusing on the monastery, and Oladushek decides he's going to try to save it through all of this. Maybe a defensive mangonel would be in order. And the relics are ejected. I think Oladushek is dead now. He's going to move the relics. He's building a new monastery. He's building a new monastery. Oh my goodness. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to try to hold on to the relics. I don't think he realized about the relic countdown. That's why he built his monastery sort of not next to the castle. So he's put these relics in position, and now he's gonna convert the Rothas. And what do Oladushek's resources look like? He's actually on his way up to the Imperial Age now. And Kiritastrich building a monastery here because he does not want Oladushek getting the relic countdown, and he wants these relics for himself. And Kiritastrich does not have anywhere near the food needed to click up. Actually, all that Kiritastrich has to do is run back here and, like, he put these Rothas into archer mode and stand back here and kill, like, 6 villagers. Force Oladushek to relocate his wood line. That would actually really hurt Oladushek. The rocket cart is pummeling these armored elephants. And I think Oladushek is going to go for the relics again. Come back here with the monks. Nope. Kiritastrich snags one. Oladushek laughing. And this monk... Yeah, this monk didn't get a relic. So the good news for Oladushek is that he's Imperial Age. The bad news is he has very little map control. He does have some berry pickers back here. And he's got nothing else. He's got like some outposts and a house. But he really does not have much. So I'm not exactly sure what Oladushek's game plan is other than trebuchets, which he could do a lot of damage with. He's got 2 trebuchets queued up. He could take down this castle. He could take down this castle, and he should. He should destroy those castles as soon as possible. Because you can bet that his opponent is going to try to get up to the Imperial Age too. Or, I don't know actually. He's building these armored elephants left and right. It's like he doesn't care about Imperial Age. Like he's just going to do... He's just going to do an elephant charge at the base of that castle and hope for the best. He's got mangonels, he's got elephants. He's making elephants from 3 siege workshops. So, I guess this... And he's getting devotion. This gives us a little bit of a clue that Kiritastrich is just all in Castle Age. But so far, it's been a pretty good game. Alright, looks like it's charge time. Here come the armored elephants. Going after Oladushek's castle. Now, remember that because Kiritastrich has at least 1 relic, he probably has 2. Oladushek cannot get... Yeah, he's got 1 relic. Oladushek cannot get the countdown. Now, I don't know where the rocket cart is. I think it got destroyed. Or it's getting eaten by these elephants. Because there are just too many elephants now. And Oladushek's monk, I think, is working on an armored elephant. Yes, apparently you can convert the armored elephants. I don't know if you need redemption. I don't think so. And Oladushek managing to repulse Kiritastrich's attack. No handicap here. Both players are competing on an equal footing. And what's left for Kiritastrich? What is he even... I guess he's got 2 town centers, he's expanding his farming eco a little bit, or he's actually not replenishing his farming eco. That's what that is. He's built another castle here, and Oladushek is running around for a tower rush at 38 minutes into the game. Well, this castle is going to eat away at this keep. But this keep could potentially open a hole in the wall and allow Oladushek to continue to just build towers everywhere and be a nuisance. So Kiritastrich has sent a Rotha here. He's actually sending more Rothas. So could be difficult for Oladushek to do much more with that. Somehow Oladushek has the score lead, despite not really having any map control at all. This kind of shows you what Koreans can do when they're backed into a corner to a defensive position. And Kirtastrich maintaining armored elephant production from 2 siege workshops. And I don't know if he's going to charge in again or what he's going to try. Maybe if I could just read Russian, it would give me a clue. No. Oh well, we'll just have to we'll just watch. Alright, well, Oladushek sent Kirtastrich's own armored elephant over here to help him take down buildings, and now he's being a nuisance. He's building some more towers, he's building another tower, and he's building some stone walls here. And I guess Oladushek got murder holes because he was able to kill Kirtastrich's monk, which was attempting to convert the keep, which would have been very helpful. The keep is shredding these Rathas. But the Rathas eventually do take down the armored elephant. Now, I think that this keep has some villagers in it. But was that really worth it? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So this keep is going to go up, and Oladushek is just going to keep rushing his opponent. Oladushek has managed to destroy Kirtastrich's castle. And Kirtastrich is massing his units in the center for a big push. You would think that Kirtastrich would be majorly housed right now, but so would he, and that's why he built more houses recently, seeing that he just lost 2 castles. Alright, here's another defensive castle. Now this keep is going to go up, and it's going to get some villager kills for sure. There's 1 villager down, 2 villagers down. But Kirtastrich can power through. Alright, Kirtastrich is sending some armored elephants to deal with these keeps. He's still only in castle age. Castle goes up, and that means that this keep will go down. So here come the Ratha. They could potentially protect the armored elephant. Oladushek, is he out of gold? No, he's got gold. He may have built this keep here to secure this stone instead, or the other flank of that stone. That's the more likely explanation. Oladushek has also collected all of the relics, so he has restarted a relic countdown. That means that Kirtastrich has to win the game within 185 years. Doesn't appear to be very likely. Oladushek definitely exploiting the technology advantage over Kirtastrich. And what is this? This is a bombard tower. What the heck? So these Rathas are not going to last very long against the bombard towers. The elephants do charge in. And these elephants are actually somewhat healthy. They are going to succeed at taking down the castle, which is impressive. Can Oladushek afford to rebuild the castle? Probably, because he's doing well enough. But he's actually extremely housed. Yeah, he can afford to build a new castle. So the elephants go down. Kirtastrich finally reaches his goal of destroying that castle, but he needs something more, right? He needs to destroy the monastery, but he calls the GG because he's out of steam. Oladushek just being a huge nuisance. Apparently Kirtastrich, while we weren't looking, Kirtastrich had to build a defensive castle here to deal with Oladushek's keep. What a very wild game, though. Their battle has indeed been legendary so far. Let's look at the statistics. Oladushek with 75 kills, 22 deaths. Wow. Kirtastrich with more buildings raised, though, by more than a factor of 3, 25 to 7. Converted 4 units. Collected more food and stone and gold, whereas Oladushek collected more wood. Oladushek with better advancement times around the board. Oladushek with 4 relics captured. Kirtastrich with 5 castles. And to build all these defensive castles. Let's look at the timeline. Oladushek winning with a timeline that looks like this. Oof. Alright, let's go back to the replays. So Oladushek is up a game against Kir Tastrich. So I'm going to load the next game. I'm actually going to step away real quick. We're going to let these guys do their early game kind of thing. I'll be right back. I just got to refill my water. So we're going to look at Kir Tastrich's point of view, and we're going to do the view lock. And I'll be right back while I refill my water. And then we'll talk about the civs a little bit. It'll be good. Thanks for sticking with me. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, I had to refill my water and grab a clementine here. So Kir Tastrich is Vietnamese. He knows where his opponent is. He knows where his opponent starts. So that's a good advantage for him. And he's just scouting now. He's ascertained that this is largely a water map. I don't know if he's made a decision about whether or not to dock at all. It looks like he's thinking about it. Sending more villagers out to wood. This indicates that he is planning on docking at some point in the near future. Let's uncheck this box. And uncheck the fog of war. And Oladushek has actually already docked. And Oladushek has built his dock in an unpredictable place. Oladushek always likes to build like forward, weird side docks. He can never build like just a dock that a normal person would build. He's always got to build some different looking dock, which I kind of like. So there's a big neutral island in the center. This could favor civilizations that have a good slow crawl, like the Slavs. But Slav's slow crawl doesn't really take effect until very late game. And Vietnamese have a stronger power spike earlier, I would say. Slavs kind of have that awkward moment in Castle Age where they're not really sure what they want to do or who they are. So we're probably going to see generic water builds from... Wait, what? Oh, this is an early dock. I see, yeah, there's no lumber camp here. So Oladushek chopping his stragglers so that he can get this fishing ship out for free, and I wonder if Oladushek is going to attempt a lightning-fast castle from that. So a strategy like this could really screw up your build. You know, I don't think it's very easy to pull off. And I don't think Oladushek really has any relevant civ bonuses, civ eco bonuses for this. His farmers work faster, but yeah, not really any, not otherwise any eco bonuses. So he's gonna build his lumber camp now, and he needs to get a move on here, because in about 2 villagers he's gonna be looking to build a house here, right? So he doesn't want to get housed. So an advantage for Kir Tastrich is, you know, if he's on water... Wait, what? Oh, you start with this naval scout, I guess, this war lembos. So if you're already on water, and you're already making ships, and you're already collecting wood and gold for that, and you wanted to transition to land units, you would already have you would already be on resources that would be conducive to archers. So I think this map kind of favors archer civilizations. Oladushek just looking up to the feudal age now. I don't see any additional docks from him yet. And Kiritastrich evacuating his turkeys. So this tells me he's clicked up as well. Yeah. So he wouldn't have this mass exodus. Would not have a mass exodus underneath his town center if he still needed food. So Kiritastrich technically does not know where Oladushek's dock is, but he knows that Oladushek started building a house there. So it's worth checking out. That means that Oladushek sent a villager who was close to water over there. So Kiritastrich may have at least a very good hint that Oladushek's dock is in this area. Let's check Oladushek's point of view. Oladushek knows exactly where Kiritastrich's dock is, and he's trying to do something cheeky. But I think this villager is going to die. That's very unfortunate for Oladushek. The villager getting killed by tigers. So Oladushek coming in here to attack these fishing ships, but the fishing ships garrison in the dock, and they deal a little bit of damage to this war Lembos. Forcing Oladushek to improvise, and I guess he instead sent some villagers out here, and he's going to build a dock in this location. Alright. It's actually, we've gone this far into the stream without actually setting up the reports at all. We should probably do that. Get it to tell us how many villagers each player has, for example. So Kiritastrich has a big villager lead over Oladushek. Oladushek sees some hulks coming, and these hulks, they're very good against the war Lembos, I guess, because that's a fire ship. So they're going to destroy that first, and Oladushek is not able to keep up with repairs. And they actually kill that villager. Ah, what a horrible way to die. Imagine that. Getting grappled to death by a ship. It's probably even worse than being burned to death, honestly. Actually, no, probably not. Well, I don't know. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer to get, like, grappled to death by an enemy warship? Where you had grappling hooks just, you know, carve you up like you're at a butcher shop, a cannibal butcher shop, or would you rather be roasted alive by a fire ship? Yeah, either way sounds pretty bad. These elephants. These elephants have a lot of food on them, actually. Over 540 food. Well, I think the stream has been going pretty well so far. Nobody's been here to enjoy it, but that's okay. It seems like, you know, PC hasn't been lagging. This new hard drive has made a huge difference. I'm able to read and write data from my hard drive a lot faster. And that's a good thing. That's very good. That's quite promising in the context of hosting people in the future and having future events. Now watch, I'm going to get back to my stream, and it's going to be in 160p. It's going to be like terrible low quality or something. There's going to be some really stupid setting that I forgot to change when I was configuring everything, and that's why nobody's watching, is because it's actually just a big fuzzy blur, which is why I'm able to do this. But I don't know, it seems promising. Seems promising so far. Seems like my computer is not getting overwhelmed. In fact, I might even be able to do capture age. That's how good this is looking, really, if you want to know the truth. So Oladushek, it has a score lead, but Kiritastrich is definitely winning on water. Kiritastrich has destroyed one of Oladushek's docks, and actually I don't think Oladushek is really fighting back too much. He's got one dock, and it's not even garrisoned. He's got a few fishing ships, and he's got a couple of galleys running around trying to get some damage in, but they're not going to succeed. So what you do, I think, if you're in Oladushek's position here, you know where your opponent is. I know it's kind of risky, but you try to sneak some villagers across. Like, you try to sneak a villager across and build a stable over here. That's what you do. Or a little base. Because if your opponent... Let's say that your opponent wins water and you got to play super defensively, and your opponent has like 16 galleys over here and they've invested a ton. How are you getting across, right? And even if you do, your opponent has all of this presence on the water. They see you here and they see you here, and they're able to shut you down once they get to that stage, or they double down on the water. But if you could send some villagers across, you could sneak them across and send them over here. And let's take a look at Kiritastrich's point of view. Yeah, Kiritastrich doesn't know about this. I mean, he scouted it, but he's not going over there now. If you wanted to be safe as Oladushek, you would more so probably build out here, in case Kiritastrich decides that he wants to take this gold in addition to the other golds that he has scouted. But as Oladushek, yeah, I would come over here. I would build like 3 stables. And I would just go up to Castle Age. I would get that big, fat, Slavic farming economy down, and go one town center all in, and just like surprise your opponent. Come through here, gut everything. That would, you know, because once you lose water on a map like this that's so heavily dominated by water, I think it's tough. I think it's tough to come back. And Oladushek he's killing ostriches, but he's going to have to do more than that to make a comeback. And you could always try, like, to build sneak docks and stuff, and that's sort of what he's done here. He's built himself a sneak dock, and he's building a hulk, but once you're that far behind, it's just, I find it hard to believe. Oh, this is funny. Oladushek has walled this off. I think Kiritastrich can just sail around it, though. I'm pretty sure that this is just beach terrain. Maybe not. It just sort of blows my mind that fire ships have damage against, like, that can actually deal damage to stone walls somehow. And I might actually clip this too. This is a good question. How do fire ships damage stone walls? You know what? That's a good question for Sandy Peterson. I follow him on Twitter. He has no clue who I am and probably will never care. But that is actually a question I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. How do fire ships... Because that's been a thing since the original game, right? How do fire ships damage stone walls? Alright, Oladushek repairing these hulks. That's not a good sign. That means Kiritastrich saw one of those hulks and attacked it. And I don't know why Kiritastrich isn't over here now. I guess he's kind of regrouping. He's got a War Hulk. Okay, so he's got an upgraded version. He's got an upgraded version. He's got 2 fire ships working on that. This is just so funny. I can't select the wall segment. Oh well. And I guess this War Hulk is outnumbered enough that it's got to pull back, wait for reinforcements. Haven't really seen much in the way of galleys. It's basically just hulks versus fires. Right, there we go. We're going to wall behind. Now, has Kiritastrich found this yet? He's about to. Yeah, he's suspicious. And I like how these grappling hooks just destroy the fire ships, or the fishing ships too. They don't conquer them, they don't convert them. I don't know, it's a start. It's a start. But it would make a lot more sense if you actually sent some men over to the enemy. Actually, you know what's probably happening? Hey, Kira Tastrich, welcome. You know what's probably happening is the grappling hooks signify that the ship is sending people over, and those people are sabotaging the enemy ship until it is destroyed. That's what's happening. So it's not like they're just ripping the planks off with the grappling hooks and just tearing the ship apart. It's that they are continuously sending people aboard the ship until those people have had the chance to destroy the entire ship and sabotage it and sink it. Scuttle it, they say, or cause it to... Yeah, scuttle is the right word. Scuttle the ship such that it founders. So Oladushik has kind of a peaceful society going on over here on the right-hand side. He's got a castle. Castle is kind of close to the shoreline. It indicates that he's thinking about maybe redocking this, but he's got a boyar heading forward. Boyar have a lot of melee armor. I think that the melee armor helped them resist the melee attack of the fire ships and the hulks, so it kind of makes a lot of sense to go boyar, because he could actually fight ships with these boyars, maybe. And Kira Tastrich has made... Oh, alright. Kira Tastrich has some cavalry archers. So these cavalry archers should be effective against the boyars. The boyars don't have anything special in terms of pierce armor. They're just the same thing as knights. And Oladushik is building a monastery to collect relics, and I guess they're just going to pass each other. No, okay, they're going to fight. Boyars, it's the favorite unit of Oladushik. Oh, Oladushik likes boyars a lot, huh? Well, that maybe that's because Oladushik is descended from boyars. And that's the reason Oladushik likes them so much. It's like playing with his ancestors. It's lagging for you a little bit, huh? Okay. Oh, yes, I can see that I've dropped some frames recently. I'll have to keep an eye on that. I really appreciate you pointing that out. This is not something that I noticed until now. Must be a recent thing. And the GG is called. Let's take a look. So Oladushik calling the GG. He realizes he can't get in on Kira Tastrich and deal some damage. I think Oladushik needed a sneak. He needed to build some stables out here and let Kira Tastrich have the water and just build a big rolling Slavic farming economy back here. Maybe, you know, a castle to help defend it. I mean, it would have been easy to wall up. But yeah, with so much water on the map, it's kind of hard to come back when you've lost that much map control. So Kira Tastrich taking game 2 and tying this setup 1-1. So now they're gonna play a tiebreaker game, and we look forward to seeing that happen. All right, so Kira Tastrich, it should be better now. Looks like I'm no longer dropping any frames, and we're back up to a normal frame rate. All right, let's take a look at the achievements here. Statistics. I'm not going to ask Sandy Peterson that question about fire ships damaging stone walls. He's probably been asked that question so many times. It'd be cool to ask him if, like, he wasn't asked that question. Like, if I'm the first person in the world to think of that to ask him, but he's probably answered that question many times already. It would be a banality. It would just annoy him. Alright, so Kira Tastrich has 24 kills and 8 units lost, largely attributed to his success at sea, although also because he cleared out Oladushik's boyars for little to no cost. He also destroyed more buildings, and they were probably all docks, if you want to know the truth. Oladushik had more food collected, which makes sense because he's Slavs, and he had more stone collected, but Kira Tastrich had more wood and gold collected. Kira Tastrich basically naturally transitioned into a land unit that cost the same resources as his naval units, wood and gold, so it just made a lot of sense. Kiritastrich and Holodushek actually tied for feudal age, but I guess the edge was given to Kiritastrich for being lower elo and still getting to the feudal age at the same time. But Holodushek was to the castle age first, and he explored 97% of the map. Research count of 20. And timeline looks pretty good for Kiritastrich. Alright, and now we do the third tiebreaker game. We will load the replay. Oh boy! Look at all of this water. I bet Kiritastrich is happy to see that. Kiritastrich is playing as the Italians. And, ooh. Italians versus Berbers. Let's go. This is like Nile Delta here. You start with a university, and you start with a trade workshop. Well, this is fun. This is very fun indeed. So you kind of got to do a little bit of island hopping here. This is why we love Hyperrandom. And apparently you start with a fishing ship too. And Holodushek is already docking. Last time he docked early and it didn't work out for him. Maybe it'll work better this time. This is kind of like, yeah, this is kind of like Nile Delta a little bit, huh? Kiritastrich says that Holodushek coached him when he started to play AoE 2. Ah, so you're relatively new to the Age of Empires scene, maybe. How long have you been playing AoE 2, Kiritastrich? So we got some crocodiles. Guarding... Oh, look, that's actually a lot of crocodiles on these neutral islands. So these guys are probably not going to expand to the neutral islands anytime soon, at least not successfully. You know, this map setup, this map actually makes a lot of sense for Wonder Victory on. We don't see a lot of Wonder Victories in Alchemy League, even though it's enabled. But this map would be a good fit for that. Imagine being able to build, like, Kiritastrich building a Wonder back here or something. Or maybe, like, not there, but maybe, like, right here. Still out of range of cannon galleons, maybe on this hill to defend it. That would be pretty epic. Less than 3 years, so he's relatively new. So he had only been playing Age of Empires for, at most, a year when Alchemy League began, and then he learned about it.
Food, please.
Well, welcome, Kiritastrich. Seems like Holodushek has taught you well. So this university is a really good benefit for Italians, because Italian university techs are cheaper. Dock and university technologies cost minus 25%. And for the Berbers also get a university bonus, I believe. Or maybe that's the Malians. Yeah, that's the Malians. The Berbers do not get a university bonus, but they do still get a ship bonus. Their ships are faster. So, on a map with this much water, especially with kind of like weird waterways, I bet Holodushek appreciates that. I bet Holodushek appreciates being able to get around the map a little quicker. Now, I wonder how a Wonder would do right here. Let's say that you had water control. Or maybe, at least, not, if not water control, you had a lot of stone. You built towers all along this. That could be a lot of fun defending that Wonder. Alright, so Kiritastrich is luring some elephants. This is a double elephant lure. These elephants are actually really small elephants, though. They only have 220 food on them each. 224. So they're pretty lightweight, but at least he was able to get two at the same time. So, Kiritastrich prefers Holodushek's civilization bonuses. I don't know if... Alright, Kiritastrich, if you prefer Holodushek's civilization bonuses, why are you Italians? still get some decent upgrades here. Cheaper advancements to the next stage means that you could potentially be in the next stage sooner. Your fishing ships are cheaper. There's still some good stuff in here. Dock techs cost less as well. I think I'd rather be Italians on this map. Maybe Oladushek can be super annoying with the Berbers, and we just haven't seen it yet. So blacksmith from Kira Tastrich, and does this trade workshop count as a building? Castle Age building? No, it does not, I don't think, because he's building a market. Dang, well that's too bad. So he had to build a market. He couldn't count the trade workshop. Oladushek is building a blacksmith and a market as well. They're both going fast castle. It makes total sense on a map like this. Really hard to get value out of like a feudal age rush. The players start very far apart. The waterways are complex. It's not a direct path. So by the time you get over here with a bunch of galleys, your opponent is like castle age already. They sort of have a safe fish boom, if you will. So what do you guys think Oladushek will do? Oh, okay. I guess he's showing us what he's going to do. He's got some hulks here. So it's going to be another big water battle. I was hoping maybe Kira Tastrich would, like, or somebody would land these islands, and we kind of see a land battle over the islands. But at least water is more interesting now than it has historically been. So 3 hulks versus 3 hulks, but Oladushek's hulks are faster. So Kira Tastrich has to pull his hulks back. Wait, what is this? What are these? These aren't arrows. They don't fire arrows. They have grappling hooks, unless they left the grappling hooks behind. That'd be very strange. Grappling hooks are hard to replace. They're not like arrows. Arrows are meant to be cheap and expendable. Not grappling hooks. So Kira Tastrich is Castle Age. He's getting some warship upgrade. He's getting medium warships. He's getting iron casting. He's getting careening. Convenient that he starts with the university to help him get all these techs, which are cheaper. And, oh, demo ship there, I think. I would assume that's what that explosion was. And what? He grappled a crocodile. Crocodile doesn't even fight back. Arrows from the anchors. Yeah, something like that. Alright, so he's got these war hulks. It'd be kind of cool if you could put a villager in repair mode. You know, like there was some button that you could hit to configure the villager. And the villager will stand there and it'll automatically repair any unit within 3 tiles or something. So if you just set a villager right here and it just stands here and you hit this button and you just forget about the villager, that button will remain selected until you task the villager to do something else. Otherwise, the villager just stands there, and anything within 3 tiles, it'll go to the closest object and repair it. And then when it's complete, it'll go to the next object that needs repairing within 3 tiles of its original starting location. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that'd be pretty cool. Uh-oh, there's some demo ships here. These demo ships could deal major damage to the hulks, because hulks are melee units. But the war galleys are here. So in theory, Kira Tastrich should win this fight because he's got war galleys helping out, and war galleys counter the hulks. Oladushek forced to withdraw, or maybe he's trying to micro down a specific unit type. Okay, Kirtastrich finally winning that fight, but he doesn't have as many units left over as I thought he would. And it looks like he is going to switch into war galleys. Maybe Kirtastrich would benefit from some demolition ships to help him clear out these hulks. To weaken them. Oh, Oladushek running away. Now, luckily for Kirtastrich, these war galleys... Actually, these war galleys don't have any melee armor. What am I talking about? The hulks have lots of melee armor, but not so much pierce armor. So the war galleys shoot them down. And Oladushek has finally landed this island. And Kirtastrich has landed it as well. He's going to build a house first thing. And Oladushek has definitely been very expansionist. He built 3 docks all along the southern coastline. And against the northern coastline, he built 2 docks. And now that he's landed this island, he's got a good feel for where his opponent is, right? He knows that his opponent is generally in this area. And he can kind of assume that his opponent is across the way from him. So... He definitely wants to... Oh! Oladushek deciding to evacuate this area. It's infested with crocodiles. So he sends his warships to kill one of the crocodiles, and when he's not busy microing somewhere else, he's probably going to cycle through and kill all of the crocodiles. Oladushek massing up some more war galleys. Yeah, he's just like, yep, alright, not going to fight this. So he pulls back and he manages to save this lady. Okay, he's off. He's unloaded now. And he's going to build a lumber camp. Little does he know that there are more crocodiles here. But that's okay. He'll find out later. Yeah, the war galleys make a lot of sense on a map like this. Because you have choke points. You know, narrow channels of water that you can kind of set the galleys up in, and it's hard to get around, like a good surround on the galleys. They can kind of pin down anything that's coming at them and gun down anything that's coming at them. That was one of the comments from Nicaea that people brought up, which was pretty logical when that was played in Alchemy League Season 3. It was this idea that, hey, you know, there's a lot of little islands on this map, and that's cool, but that makes galleys a lot more powerful, because it's hard to get around them with fire ships or demolition ships. At the time, the hulks did not exist. Uh-oh. Not a good fight for the hulks. The War Hulk. Yeah, it's no Incredible Hulk right there. It's just a War Hulk. If it were the Incredible Hulk, it could do Hulk Smash. So it makes sense that it's evolved into a war galley fight with occasional fire ship mixing. Fire ship bought Kirtastrich some land, some map control. Moves forward. Oladushek is building a monastery. I don't know that Oladushek knows. Actually, Oladushek knows that Kirtastrich is on this island. Does Kirtastrich know that he's sharing this island with Oladushek? No. Kirtastrich does not know that Oladushek is here yet. Well, actually he does, because he sees this house. So he knows, and that's what triggers him to build the barracks. Okay. And there's a horse here, so maybe he moved his horse over, or maybe he, you know, his horse was here for a little while, and now he's going to scout around with it a little bit more to see if he can find what built this house and whether or not it's still here. Kirtastrich says it's so interesting because after the game he couldn't check, but Oladushek had 2 positions to push his base. Well, yes and no. Oladushek is certainly coming across land. He's built a monk to help him in this fight. But Oladushek could come around here, if that's what you mean, to get to Kirtastrich's base. Or he could come this way. Or he could potentially land this island. I don't know if Oladushek can sail through here. I don't think he can. I think that this is landlocked. So I don't think anybody can sail through here. But this choke point is definitely of great importance to both of them. And Oladushek monk rushing Kiritastrich's villager. And Kiritastrich is actually in the Imperial Age, so these are galleons now. And I think Kiritastrich needs to maybe fortify this, maybe build some castles and stuff on either of these islands. Try and lock down this choke point if you're concerned about being pushed from a specific direction. What I think makes a lot of sense is actually to build the castle like right here, you know, somewhere that's sort of on the island, right? But it's on your side of the island. And if your opponent does get siege ships and they move into position here, you can convert or destroy those siege ships from using land units. So even if you're behind on water, you don't necessarily... Whereas if you build your castle here, you know, Oladushek can just roll up a trebuchet over here and it's hard to get to. Or he could use siege ships from back here, and again, it's hard to get to. But if you build your... You know, because the castle still gives you control of most of the island, but it gives you a little bit of breathing room. So Kiritastrich definitely needs to exploit his technology advantage here, and it looks like that's what he's doing. So he's going to destroy both of Oladushek's docks, and Oladushek is just going to kind of chill here and I guess wait for these war galleys to be upgraded, because Kiritastrich is not pursuing him. Kiritastrich is using his ships to take a position instead, or rather to clear out Oladushek's position. And Kiritastrich definitely has more military, but wait, what is this? Oladushek, does he have a relic victory? Don't tell me he has a relic countdown. He's got relics next to it. Is there only one relic on the map? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Well, I don't know what that relic means then. There are more relics there. Somebody can correct me or clarify. And Oladushek very smartly building a tower here. But maybe now is not the best time. She should win the position first and then build a tower. Because as it stands right now, these villagers are going to get hammered. Kiritastrich has made some cannon ships. Cannon galleons. And now he's starting to build towers along this coastline, which is a good start. Oh, I see. Oladushek built a dock here. Well, that's super annoying. Gonna have to deal with that. Luckily, he has the cannon ships handy to destroy it. And he's got some fire ships here to deal with this Karak, which is the upgraded version of the War Hulk. Cannon galleons are slow and expensive. This Karak could potentially kill at least 2 of them before succumbing. And Oladushek going to build another dock here, and another dock, just to be super annoying and open up another front for Kiritastrich to have to deal with. Oladushek loves opening up fronts. He loves sniping siege weapons, drawing things out. It's what he does. I think that Kiritastrich should pull his navy back here, clean all of this up, and then make sure that he profoundly lands and like has towers or castles or buildings that can make land units all along this so that he doesn't have to deal with this. I guess he is starting to do that. He's got a stable. So this stable is making, I guess, some scouts. He's building a scout cavalry, and then he's researching light cavalry. So he's gonna clear this out eventually. I guess Oladushek has got these docks garrison creation for now. So he'll probably pop out in a little bit and take a fight. Kiritastrich researching light cavalry. And he'll be in shortly, and that will enable him to clear out these islands, hopefully for his sake. Oladushek has not really invested much in land control either, to be fair. He's just got a barracks that he's built here. We can check his point of view to see what he plans on doing with the barracks. Looks like nothing. The barracks is just a prerequisite building. He didn't have a barracks anywhere else in his empire, so we had to build one here. And he goes to build a stable, but the villager is eaten by crocodiles. So he wasn't quick enough to perform the evacuation trick that was required. The good news for Oladushek is that he somehow managed to mass up a huge navy while Kiratastrich was distracted down here. And Oladushek launching some cannonballs at this. Alright, this Carrack. It's just passing, apparently. Oh my goodness, 19 HP. And they're continuing to slog it up here with Oladushek having a lead. Doesn't look like he rebuilt his docks, but I guess he's got other docks within the supply chain pumping out ships. I'd like to see the players try to build more on these neutral islands, or maybe Oladushek could do Oladushek things and cheekily land Kiratastrich up here. Could you imagine a light cav raid? Like, imagine 10 light cavs swooping in to Kiratastrich has completely deforested the southern tip of this island. So he's going to come up here to build a new lumber camp. But could you imagine, like, 10 light cav swooping in? Surely Oladushek could afford it at this point in time. He's Berbers, after all. The light cav are cheaper. And have him slaughter some villagers that are on gold, slaughter some lumberjacks. It would be a huge distraction, and it would basically guarantee that he could win the water fight. But I guess both players are so entrenched into building as many ships as possible and using them to win that they haven't considered the landing strategy. Kiratastrich with some light cabs. Oladushek with 2 relics there. 1 relic here. Looks like this is another 4 relic version. It's possible that Oladushek could have had the relics for this map if he prioritized them. But I guess probably he doesn't know about the final relic on Kiratastrich's island. I imagine he probably hasn't scouted Kiratastrich's island very much. Yeah, he doesn't know about it. So the relic is right here. And Kiratastrich is getting it. So, this siege workshop is probably a response to this castle. I would imagine that Kiratastrich knows about the castle. Yeah, I mean, these are light cabs, so he would have seen it going up. He builds a siege workshop so that he can take it down. Oladushek with the galleons. Galleons are a little bit faster. They're easier to micro, as Kiratastrich said. But the upgrades are more expensive, so we can expect that Kiratastrich will have the upgrades faster. And he's got to put his army in a better position than Oladushek's. Late game, long term, you know, it's nothing special. That's right. Kiratastrich saw that Oladushek had a relic affinity after the first game. So he's going to make monks himself to get these relics. Make sure that Oladushek doesn't take them all. Because it is another way to die. Another way to lose the game in Alchemy League. It's not conquest victory. Alright, so this is sort of the stalemate breaker that we've been looking for. We've been looking for somebody to boldly land these islands and push across with castles and other buildings and monks and siege weapons, and it looks like that's what Oladushek is doing as Berbers. Italians, I think, could do it better, but Oladushek is doing it. Kiratastrich is focused mainly on ships. Kiratastrich could do a lot of damage if he landed up here himself. Could you imagine 10 light cav for Kiratastrich in this location? It'd be a huge pain for Oladushek to deal with. Oladushek continuing to open up additional fronts, additional guard towers, being a pain. Kiritastrich has some fire ships, and he's clearing up some of Oladushek's galleons. But he hasn't had as much luck with these Carracks that are going after the cannon galleons. And the cannon galleon is going to go down. That's unfortunate for Kiritastrich because he lost like 4 or 5 cannon ships there. Kiritastrich is proud of his results. Yeah, it looks like Oladushek is starting to run away with the game. Kiritastrich out of ships. He has the resources to make more, but Oladushek has been building towers all along his docks. So it could be pretty hard for Kiritastrich to get back on water unless he builds a bunch of docks up here. But Oladushek has Carracks even staged in this location. So I think it's only a matter of time now before Kiritastrich calls the GG. But Oladushek, kind of the first to build his empire, expand his empire into the neutral island, and I think it's really helping him. Kiritastrich calling the GG. It was a fun game. It's a different game, you know, you don't get to see something like this every day. Finish replaying the game. So now we're going to go look at the statistics. So Oladushek, it's a similar kill-to-death ratio, actually. Kiritastrich actually destroyed a lot more buildings. Oladushek got 2 conversions and a largest army of 41 versus 36. Oladushek with more food, wood, stone, and gold collected. Maybe faster Berber villagers helping him collect all these resources despite being distracted and not building additional camps or anything like that. Kiritastrich with superior advancement times. Again, makes sense. Italian's cheaper. Oladushek had more castles. Kiritastrich did not build a single castle. And Oladushek got 3 relics. Kiritastrich with a higher villager count of 81. A relatively even timeline until the very end when Kiritastrich's navy collapsed. Alright, so guys, I really appreciate anybody that was able to join today. Thank you, Kiritastrich, for coming. I hope that you enjoyed the stream. I think that they were good games. I really liked both sets, actually. Flying Mouse versus Core Diamond and Kiritastrich versus Oladushek. So, thank you guys so much for joining. And looks like we had a pretty decent stream, although I'll go back and watch the replay myself just to make sure. But assuming that everything looks right, we'll start getting those dignified guests on, and we'll do some even better casts than this high quality one. So thank you everybody for coming, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Take care, and until next time.